Larry Ellison started Oracle Software over 30 years ago.
It's changing who we are.
Larry Ellison, and Oracle, I guess, is going to play a very big role in.
Oracle is building the world's largest AI cluster for OpenAI.
Every click, every transaction, every AI model depends on one invisible system. Not Google, not Microsoft, not Amazon. A company you almost never see, but that quietly runs the world's information. It stores the financial records of nations. It holds the medical data of millions. Its servers process fighter jet logistics and hospital blood tests in the same second. That company is Oracle. Before AI, before the cloud, before big tech, there was Oracle. The company that built the database everything else runs on. Its software moves money, tracks weapons, powers governments, and feeds the machines now teaching themselves to think. Most people will never use Oracle, but their lives run on it. Today, its systems reach from Washington to Riyadh, from Wall Street to the Pentagon. This is the story of how one company came to own the world's data, and how the man who built it designed control itself. (1977). Silicon Valley is still orchards and circuit boards. Three engineers, Larry Ellison, Bob Miner, and Ed Oates, are chasing a radical idea that data could be organized like language. Their inspiration came from an IBM paper by Edgar F. It described something revolutionary: the relational database, a system where information could be linked, searched, and scaled infinitely. IBM shelved it. Ellison didn't. He and his partners built a prototype from scratch inside a rented office in Santa Clara. They called their company Software Development Laboratories. 2 years later, they renamed it Relational Software Inc. By 1982, they renamed it Oracle Corporation. The name came from a CIA project they'd helped build. Their early contract, codenamed Oracle, paid just enough to survive, but it gave them something more valuable: access to government-grade data architecture. They learned how to build systems that couldn't fail, because failure meant compromising national security. Oracle's first products weren't flashy. They were tools, dense, efficient, and designed for permanence. By the early 1980s, Oracle databases were inside defense networks, Fortune 500 payrolls, and global banks. In 1986, Oracle went public. Within 6 years, Oracle 7 became the backbone of enterprise computing, a product so embedded that removing it could cost millions. Ellison had discovered something no one else in Silicon Valley understood yet. If you control the database, you control the business. And if the world's information runs through your systems, the rest follows. By the late 1980s, its database had become the default operating system for the modern corporation. Banks, airlines, militaries all ran on Oracle. The pitch was simple: speed, stability, and control. But in the fine print was permanence. Once your data lived in Oracle, leaving meant rewiring your entire business. This was the birth of vendor lock-in capitalism. Inside the company, Ellison enforced the same structure he sold: centralized, hierarchical, absolute. He was a CEO who micromanaged engineers and memorized their code. He didn't just lead Oracle, he ran through it. In 1990, that control nearly collapsed. Aggressive accounting inflated revenues, and when the numbers broke, so did the stock, down 70% in months. Executives fled. Analysts called Oracle finished. The company was burning through cash. Salespeople had been booking phantom deals, counting contracts that didn't exist. When auditors arrived, the fiction collapsed. Ellison locked himself in his office for 3 days. When he emerged, he had a list, names of everyone who stayed and everyone who ran. He kept the engineers, the ones who built the product, not the ones who sold the myth. Then, he did something no one expected. He called every major customer personally. Not to apologize, to remind them that their entire operation ran on Oracle 7, and no competitor could migrate them without years of downtime. It was a gamble, but he was right. They stayed. Ellison fired half his leadership and rebuilt the company around Oracle 7. Stable, scalable, military-grade reliable. It worked. By 1992, Oracle was profitable again, and Ellison learned a single rule. Never delegate the core. Never surrender the data. Through the 1990s, he applied that rule to the industry itself. When rivals rose, he brought them. Each acquisition erased a competitor and absorbed its customers into Oracle's orbit. The playbook was simple: identify, acquire, integrate. Then raise the price. Its systems processed global payrolls, government pensions, and hospital records. When a flight took off, a trade executed, or a missile launched, somewhere, an Oracle database moved first. By the early 2000s, Oracle wasn't expanding. It was absorbing. Ellison called it strategy. Everyone else called it war. He set his sights on the enterprise software market, the systems that ran payroll, hospitals, and governments. Each rival became a target: PeopleSoft, Cybele, BAE Systems, Hyperion. In 2003, Ellison offered $5.1 billion. PeopleSoft's board rejected it. He raised the offer. They rejected again, deploying a poison pill defense to make the takeover prohibitively expensive. Ellison didn't blink. He launched a proxy fight, took the battle public, and turned it into an 18-month siege. Regulators investigated. Employees protested. PeopleSoft's CEO called it a hostile act against customers. Ellison called it inevitability. In 2005, he won. Final price, $10.3 billion. Within a year, Oracle had gutted PeopleSoft's leadership, absorbed its customer base, and discontinued half its products. Thousands lost their jobs. But Oracle's customer count doubled overnight. And every remaining competitor understood the message. Resist, and we'll buy you anyway. Cooperate, and maybe you survive. When Ellison bought Sun Microsystems in 2010, he didn't just acquire a firm. He seized the keys to the internet. Java and MySQL now belong to Oracle, giving the company control over the language of the web. From that point, Oracle wasn't infrastructure. It was a dependency. Inside the company, the hierarchy hardened. Ellison ruled from the top, while Safra Catz, his trusted lieutenant, enforced order with absolute precision. Micromanagement became doctrine. Dissent became career suicide. Oracle's customers paid whatever Ellison asked. For most, quitting meant tearing out their company's nervous system. Critics said Oracle charged ransom fees. Ellison called it value extraction. By 2014, the empire reached a turning point. Ellison stepped down as CEO, handing control to Catz and Mark Hurd. But it was only a shift in title, not in power. From his new perch as chairman and chief technology officer, Ellison would begin planning his next campaign, a war not for software, but for the cloud itself. When the world moved to the cloud, Oracle looked obsolete. Amazon ruled the new frontier. Microsoft and Google followed. Ellison mocked them all. The cloud, he said, is just someone else's computer. But behind the scenes, he was building a new kind of weapon. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI. It wasn't designed for startups or social apps. It was built for systems that couldn't afford to fail. While competitors courted consumers, Oracle targeted the backbone of civilization. By 2020, Oracle had quietly secured data hosting deals with the US Department of Defense, Zoom, and TikTok's US operations. The pitch was simple. Oracle doesn't just rent storage. It guards secrets. Ellison and Katz doubled down on scale. Oracle expanded globally, its cloud footprint multiplying across continents. Each expansion brought Oracle closer to a single goal: to own the infrastructure of trust. In 2022, Oracle bought Cerner for $28 billion, instantly absorbing millions of medical records and locking hospitals, doctors, and insurers into its cloud. The move wasn't about software. It was about access. Medical data is the world's most valuable dataset, and Oracle now owned one of the largest vaults. Cerner systems held records for over 250 million patients across 27 countries. Veterans Affairs hospitals, military medical centers, major health insurers, all now feeding into Oracle's cloud. Healthcare providers panicked. Privacy advocates warned of consolidation risks. But Oracle moved fast, integrating Cerner's infrastructure into OCI within months. Doctors who wanted to switch faced a nightmare. Years of patient histories locked inside Oracle's architecture, with migration costs running into tens of millions. Ellison didn't just buy a healthcare company. He bought the medical history of a generation. And once the data entered Oracle's ecosystem, it wasn't leaving. By 2024, the results were visible. Cloud revenue surged 30% year over year. Oracle's market cap passed $400 billion. And the company, once written off as a relic, was suddenly a cornerstone of the AI economy. In March 2025, Ellison unveiled the next phase: the AI Factory, a partnership with NVIDIA to build massive GPU superclusters for training generative AI models on OCI. Enterprise clients, Cohere, xAI, and OpenAI adjacent startups all rushed in. Then came the deal that changed everything. In mid-2025, Oracle signed a multi-$100 billion contract with OpenAI to provide cloud compute for model training through 2030. It wasn't just money, it was sovereignty. The deal gave OpenAI access to Oracle's next-generation GPU superclusters, massive arrays of NVIDIA H100 and B200 chips, networked at unprecedented scale. But more importantly, it gave them isolation. Unlike AWS or Azure, where data shares infrastructure with thousands of other tenants, Oracle offered dedicated, air-gapped compute environments. For OpenAI, that meant training models without exposure to competitors or foreign governments. For Oracle, it meant becoming the fortress of the AI age. Industry analysts estimated the compute capacity at over 500 exaflops, enough power to train models 100 times larger than GPT-4. Why Oracle? Why not Amazon, the cloud leader? Because Ellison had built something Amazon couldn't: a system designed for secrets. Banks trusted it. Defense contractors trusted it. And now, the architects of artificial general intelligence trusted it too. OpenAI's Sam Altman was asked why Oracle. His answer was simple: when you're building the future, you need infrastructure that treats your data like a nuclear weapon. Ellison had won the cloud wars, not by being the biggest, but by being the only one governments and AI labs believed couldn't be breached. By the end of 2025, Oracle's servers were powering the tools rewriting civilization. Ellison had turned a company once mocked as outdated into the quiet superpower of the digital age. And this time, he didn't need to own the data to control it. He just had to own where it lived. By 2025, Oracle wasn't a company. It was infrastructure, a silent layer beneath civilization. Every major government, bank, and defense contractor touched its code. While the spotlight followed OpenAI and NVIDIA, Oracle became the rent collector. Every model that learned, every system that predicted, did so inside Oracle's walls. Ellison called it a global data fabric, a single nervous system connecting business, health, finance, and defense. To investors, it sounded visionary. To regulators, it sounded untouchable. At 80, Ellison still signed AI deals himself. Precision, secrecy, and total oversight intact. That mindset defined Oracle's new frontier: Autonomous Database 23AI, a system that tuned itself, repaired itself, and even generated its own queries through built-in AI. Oracle didn't just sell databases anymore. It sold digital autonomy, software that thinks like its creator. Every civilization leaves behind an architecture. For the 21st century, that architecture isn't made of stone. It's made of servers, fiber, and code. And at the center of it all sits Oracle, the company that doesn't sell to consumers, yet touches every consumer's life. The company few people understand, yet every system depends on. Larry Ellison once said the perfect system is the one that disappears. That's what Oracle became. Not a brand, not a service, a condition of modern existence. Its database holds the records of humanity. And like the myths its name came from, Oracle doesn't speak often. But when it does, the world listens. Because in a century built on data, the one who owns the structure owns the story. This is Bedlam Bear. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as built.